Right now at 5, Joplin drivers need to consider taking a detour as the city prepares to make improvements on South North Park Lane.
Some of us still getting a light wintry mix out there. It's a lot colder and some of us saw some severe weather last night. We'll break it all down and recap it coming up.
And some area kids travel to the Cornell complex to learn about the arts as Connect to Culture hosts Joplin fourth graders.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we had a bit of a rocky night for some last night. We did see those thunderstorms begin to develop last night, and some of us saw some severe weather across the area. With some of us seeing a light wintry mix this morning as well. Now, we've talked about this before. Sometimes wintry precipitation is so finite that radar can't pick it up, but we are seeing it on our Joplin Tower cam right now. Then in terms of the severe weather, all of this blue, these are hail reports. And you can see most of them across Benton County as we had severe thunderstorms roll out of northeast Oklahoma from Delaware County, Benton County, McDonald County, and into Berry County, where we saw numerous more hail reports from those storms last night. As this system rolled through, though, it got cold. We do have some winter weather advisories for our extreme northern counties through 3 o'clock. I think there's a good chance that those might get dropped early as the bulk of the wintry precipitation is starting to move away from us. 20th and Range Line, MoDOT camera there. It's difficult to see here, and it's a little difficult even to see on our Joplin Tower cam, but there is a light wintry mix falling in Joplin right now. We're sitting at 35, feeling like 27 with a northwest breeze at 10 miles an hour. Across the region, it is again cold today. 26 in Yates Center, 30 Parsons, 36 Miami, 34 Neosho, and 35 in Carthage. As we start our day, some of us again hold on to a light wintry mix through the start of the morning. Then we'll be cloudy, temperatures in the lower 30s. We're going to be lucky if we make it into the mid 30s for highs. We're looking at 35 roughly for a high, and then we'll see an additional chance of some flurries, maybe some light snow out there across the area. It's going to be hit and miss. Not everybody's going to see some, and it shouldn't add up to much, but don't be surprised if you see a stray flake or two as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours. We're going to get cold quickly too, dropping back down to a low of 24, and we'll start to be mostly cloudy as the evening progresses. And as we take a look, not at that yet, you know when it's time for that, and it's not now. 7-day forecast. Make it up to 42 tomorrow. It'll be mostly sunny after the clouds clear out in the morning. Another wintry mix, maybe a few showers possible on Saturday, 45. And then check out Sunday. We jump up to 62, hanging out at very nice, pleasant temperatures to start off next week. Maybe some evening showers Tuesday, and maybe a slightly cold morning rain as we start off about 35 Wednesday morning. We will again cool down next week as well, so enjoy this warm up while it lasts because the roller coaster ride isn't over yet. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, some Joplin drivers can expect a detour on a busy road for a short time. South North Park Lane in Joplin is closed from 7th Street to 3rd Street for the Canterbury Improvement Project. City officials say the road will be closed for around 10 days, depending on weather. And they say they're making several stormwater improvements for the installation of a box culvert, ditch improvements, and a new storm sewer. Businesses and residents will still have access to the road. Wednesday kicked off the first of 2 public meetings in Joplin to brainstorm ways to make the region more of a group travel destination. The Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau says residents have great insight on what new amenities and offerings could help make that happen. Public engagement is the first phase of the work to shape the regional tourism market for the city.
One today gave a lot of great information, so it's going to give us maybe a starting point. And I think that we need more feedback from other people in the city besides just the people that were there today in this room. So if you have opinions about what you want to see here and the tourists that you would like to see coming here, you should speak up and become a part of these meetings.
The next meeting will be today from 5 to 7 p.m. at the Council Chamber of Joplin City Hall. All are welcome to join. On Wednesday, some area kids had the chance to learn about the arts. Connect to Culture hosted the entire 4th grade from Joplin schools as part of the organization's new Ignite series. The goal is to ignite a passion for arts and culture outside of the classroom by providing performances which engage, educate, and inspire area students and their families.
A lot of times we've only had our Curtains Up series, which has brought in wonderful national touring shows, but a lot of them aren't for kids. They're for older people to enjoy, and so it is just so key to have children be able to be entertained by professional artists.
A group called The Secret Agency performed for the kids. They host interactive hip-hop performances combining music, storytelling, dance, and imagination to encourage kids to value their individuality. The City of Joplin continues planning public works projects, hoping to be approved for millions in state and federal grant money. At this week's work session, Joplin City Council says the remainder of requests for $81 million in grants have been filed. So far, $25.6 million have been awarded. The money will go towards projects like neighborhood improvements, cybersecurity, trails, and more. Another project includes repairs and restoration of Donald E. Clark Justice Center, which houses the Joplin Police Department and Fire Station Number 1.
The improvements range from plumbing, heating and water, HVAC systems, to the ducting systems. It's a very old building, 1967 when it was constructed, and hasn't had any major or significant system upgrades since 1980.
The council also heard a report on the status of streetlight installation. We'll have more on this in our 6 o'clock hour. The Springfield Cardinals will remain in their nest in Missouri for years to come. The city council officially voted to buy Hammons Field from a trust. Michael Hoffman has the details.
We are excited to have reached these agreements and are confident that these activities at Hammons Field will continue to bring new excitement to our downtown corridor.
Springfield will pay $12 million for Hammons Field and the parking lot south of the stadium. The vote was unanimous aside from Councilman Craig Hosmer, who said the city is paying too much for the parking area.
Even our own appraisal, I think, shows that the property's worth $3 million and we're paying $5.5.
The privately owned parking lot was a point of contention for years, raising rates from $7 to $20 per car, something that the Cardinals vice president says is not sustainable.
It has been a reason that people have not come to games. It's been a reason people have dropped their memberships. It's been a reason they've stopped bringing their companies out. So for us, it's a part of the fan experience. And I don't think you can separate parking from a fan experience, just like I don't think you can take away food from the fan experience.
And Ryder says that fan experience along with athlete experience will be seeing upgrades soon. Some like LED lights will be done during the season and others before it starts.
You know, you do have female coaches throughout minor league baseball, and our facility does not have a locker room for them. We're hopeful that that'll be done by opening day. We've also been working on some of the field renovations where they're looking at the slope, the depth of sprinkler heads, making sure there's no concrete on the playing field, which we had with our playing steps. Now we'll make sure that those are fixed and ready for opening day.
The team's general manager also says other changes like expanding training in weight rooms and a visiting side dining area and commissary, will all get started at the end of the 2023 season. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, we take a look at how child advocates are calling on Congress to rein in social media companies as more teens are committing suicide due to social media. Plus, new artifacts from where Harriet Tubman was born reveal about how the abolitionist lived her life. And Chris gives you another look at your cool and cloudy Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's a little difficult to see, but we've seen a light wintry mix falling in Joplin from our tower camera at 7th and Rangeline. If we switch it to black and white mode, you can actually see the precipitation falling. But if you look at the camera, you can see where it's been piling up on the lens out there. Right now, though, again, Skywatch Storm Tracker isn't really picking up on much. You can see where it's trying to pick up on a little something just to the northwest of Joplin. But with wintry precipitation, it's so finite that radar sometimes has a difficult time picking up on it. Last night, though, boy, we got some strong to severe thunderstorms. We knew it was a possibility, and it did happen. Coming in out of northeast Oklahoma through Delaware, Benton, McDonald, and Berry counties, we saw severe thunderstorm warnings roll through the night. I know Sam Lane was keeping you up to date on all of that. And check out the number of hail reports just in Benton County alone, and then that trailed into parts of southeastern Berry County as well. So a very active night. We still have some winter weather advisories for our extreme northern counties that run until 3 o'clock today. But again, it looks like the bulk of the wintry precipitation is moving out, and so there is a chance that some of these may get dropped a little bit early. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. We're looking okay. The roads are still a little bit on the wet side, and with it getting a little chilly, watch out for some slick spots out there. And at 7th and Range Line, again, the Lynn's getting covered with that wintry precipitation that's falling. We're at 35 in Joplin, feeling like 27 with a northwest breeze at 10 miles an hour. You can see the wind arrows as they do their spin as this low pressure system finally starts to track on off to the east. And now we're getting on the backside of it, and behind it, north breezes, northwesterly winds, and cold weather. 26 the 8th Center, 27 Iola, 30 in Parsons, 36 Miami, 34 Neosho, 35 Carthage Lamar, and sitting at 34 in Nevada. So an outright cold start for us today. We're going to deal with that wintry mix for some of us through about 8 o'clock this morning. Then we will be cloudy and temperatures hovering in the lower 30s throughout the morning. We're looking at highs pushing the lower 30s to maybe the mid 30s for some of us, up to about 35 in Joplin. Then later this afternoon and into the early evening, there's another chance of some light flurries, maybe some light snow out there. Should not add up to much, but again, it is a possibility. And as we head into our evening hours, we're looking pretty cold again, down to 24 for our low. Those flurries wrapping up about 6, 7 o'clock. Clouds will start to clear as we head into the overnight, and we, again, just get downright chilly. And temperatures, as you saw, kind of fluctuating between the upper 30s and the upper 20s and lower 30s. Well, we're not ready for weather trivia yet. Got to remember that's there. We start to warm up a pinch by tomorrow, up to 42. Could see some showers, maybe a little bit of a wintry mix from the cold temperatures Friday night. On Saturday, 45 though, so a little bit better there. And then look at the jump we make on Sunday, up to 62. We'll be cloudy on Monday, still in the 60s, better overnight lows as well. We could see some evening showers on Tuesday that could translate into a pretty cold morning rain as we drop back down to 35. We're looking at 55 on Wednesday. We'll take another look at your forecast and look beyond next Wednesday right after this. All right, another quick check of that forecast. Recapping, we got a light wintry mix for some of us through about 8 o'clock this morning. We are cloudy and cold as temperatures hover in the lower 30s. We're looking at highs pushing about the lower 30s to mid 30s, up to 35 in Joplin. Then this afternoon and into the early evening, we could see some additional flurries out there, maybe even some light snow. And again, shouldn't add up to much, but don't be surprised if you see a flake or two flying. So we go into the overnight, we get downright cold, down to 24 for our overnight low, and then the clouds will start to clear as we go into the overnight and give us a mostly sunny day tomorrow. So again, a bit warmer, up to 42, 45 Saturday, into the 60s Sunday and Monday. Some rain possible Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll stay decent all the way through about next Friday. Then we've got another little wave that's going to come through, knock our temperatures down to 30 Friday night, maybe a wintry mix by next Friday, and a high of 38. So as you can see, the roller coaster ride will continue for us. We're going to get back up onto the top of this thing, and then we're going to start to come back down by the time we get into the end of next week. So don't put away your winter clothing yet. We're not quite done with it, and we've still got a little ways to go before we officially get to spring. And as you know, here in the 4 states, even in the springtime, it can still get downright cold. We can even see snow as far out as April in some cases. Hopefully we don't. Well, new artifacts are giving researchers a better understanding of the life and legacy of abolitionist Harriet Tubman. Kate Amara has more from Church Creek, Maryland.
And then something red, something blue, all those pieces were there. And I thought to myself, we have found Africa on the eastern shore of Maryland.
Another major discovery on the property where abolitionist Harriet Tubman was born more than 200 years ago. Governor Wes Moore headlined the announcement.
Today really is a wonderful discovery and a celebration of what makes our state so special, what makes our state so unique.
a home where enslaved people lived, found during an archaeological dig on the 1,000-acre Thompson farm. Dr. Julie Shablitsky is MDOT's chief archaeologist and leader of the team dedicated to finding the homes of Anthony Thompson's enslaved people.
And something spectacular popped out at us. It was a 20-foot by 40-foot building in the ground in the middle of a farm field in the middle of nowhere.
Nearly 2 years of digging unearthed a brick foundation, a fireplace, broken ceramic shards, pieces of pipe and teacups. And then at the home site of Tubman's father, Ben Ross, on the Blackwater National Wildlife Refuge.
This cache of artifacts, and I almost gasped because I thought to myself, could this be a West African spirit cache? Something that tied the people who lived here back to Africa. I saw this really beautiful glass heart-shaped perfume stopper. So usually you need the glass, which would capture or reflect the spirit. Sometimes a round button, which maybe we could communicate the cosmograms, the sky. Sometimes even these metal nails that were forged in heat that had the power of Ogun, a West African deity.
The dig unearthing artifacts and layers of meaning for the archaeological team that includes Tubman's descendants.
This physical evidence gives me an idea of how my family of ancestors experienced life in bondage.
Their past directly informs my present.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite period of history? Is it the Roman Greek era, the Renaissance, ancient Egyptian, the ancient China or Asian history, the Victorian era, or something more modern, say 1945 to now, or perhaps some other period? We want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote at KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. You can also vote in our app and, of course, take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We're going to be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, grieving families are on Capitol Hill for a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing about social media safety for children. They are there to discuss the consequences of cyberbullying. As Brianna Keeler reports, this comes as U.S. teens face record-level highs of violence, sadness, and suicide risk.
His absence has left a hole in our hearts forever.
Kristen Bride is one of a growing number of parents who have lost a child to cyberbullying. Her 16-year-old son Carson died by suicide in 2020 after he was harassed on a Snapchat-integrated app that allowed users to send anonymous messages.
I woke up to the horror that he had hung himself in our garage while we slept. And there are no words to describe the tragedy of that morning and every day afterwards.
Kristen channeled some of her grief into activism, spearheading the passage of Carson's Law in her home state of Oregon. It requires school districts to notify parents or guardians of incidents like cyberbullying and harassment.
I think that there really is a level of helplessness, especially from parents who are trying to keep their kids safe online.
She's trying to change that, testifying before Congress today, 1 week after President Biden's call to action during his State of the Union address.
We must finally hold social media companies accountable for experimenting they're doing running children for profit.
The ubiquity of social media in kids' lives and the vehicle it provides for cyberbullying are also getting renewed attention as the CDC unveils a new report. It shows significant declines in youth mental health and increased suicide risk in 2021, especially among girls.
The levels of poor mental health and suicidal thoughts and behaviors reported by teenage girls are now higher than we have ever seen.
And as the story of Adriana Kutch, a 14-year-old student in New Jersey who was attacked by 4 other teenagers in her school's hallway, has stunned the nation. Video of her attack was posted to TikTok. Her father said she died by suicide the following evening.
Getting hit in the face with a water bottle didn't hurt Adriana. What hurt Adriana was the embarrassment and humiliation. They just kept coming at her.
Facebook's internal research revealed how Instagram, its photo and video sharing social media service, can damage young users' mental health and body image.
I came forward at great personal risk,
prompting whistleblower Frances Haugen to go public and testify before Congress in 2021.
Kids who are bullied on Instagram The bullying follows them home. It follows them into their bedrooms. The last thing they see before they go to bed at night is someone being cruel to them.
At the time, a Facebook spokesperson disputed Haugen's testimony, but said the company agreed it was time to create standard rules for the internet.
We remove content that could lead to imminent real-world harm.
Kristen Bride says she'll urge lawmakers to step in and take on social media giants in a meaningful way.
I really want the committee to see the face, the personal tragedy that is a result of these social media companies being completely unregulated. We need help from the federal government, and we need it now.
According to the CDC survey, 57% of teen girls felt persistently sad or hopeless in 2021, double the rate for teen boys, and nearly a third of teen girls seriously considered attempting suicide. That's a look at one of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we've got a bit of a light wintry mix falling in the Joplin area this morning. And if you have a light wintry mix falling, it will continue through the early morning hours before we start to translate to just cloudy skies and cold temperatures for the rest of the day. We'll take a complete look at your forecast and when a warm-up will be here right after this.
Right now at 5:30 a Wednesday evening, mall shooting leaves at least 1 dead and 3 injured.
We've got a light wintry mix falling across the area for some of us, leading to a few slick spots out there. We'll tell you how cold it's going to be today and when we can expect a warm-up coming up.
Now that marijuana is legal in Missouri, those charged with crimes related to the now legal drug may get their cases expunged.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we had a stormy night for some of us last night, and now that system has moved on through, we've got a cold start to the day. Live look at our camera at 7th and Range Line. There you can see precipitation continuing to build on our camera there. It's got a little wiper on it. We've run it a few times this morning, and it doesn't take a lot for it to start to get covered again. We're at 35 in Joplin, feeling like 27 with a northwest breeze at about 10 miles an hour. As mentioned, we're now on the backside of that low pressure system. So we've got the northerly winds building in, and that's bringing in much colder air for us today. 26 Yates Center, Iola, 30 in Parsons, 36 Miami, 34 Neosho, and 35 in Carthage. And as we go through the rest of the morning, some of us still going to see that light wintry mix through about 8 o'clock or so. Then we will be cloudy for the rest of the morning. Temperatures in the low 30s. We're going to look to push highs into the low 30s, maybe about 35 degrees for some of us. And then as we head into the afternoon and early evening, we could see some additional light flurries, maybe some light snow. No appreciable accumulation expected, but we could see some additional wintry weather out there. As we head into tonight, we're going to drop back down to a low of 24 degrees. That light snow stuff wrapping up about 6, 7 o'clock. We'll also have mostly cloudy skies by 10, but that's also a sign that the clouds are going to be clearing out as we head into the overnight. And they will leave us with this, a pretty nice day for tomorrow. Still chilly though. 42 for the high, up to 45 on Saturday. Maybe some showers and an early wintry mix from the overnight lows getting so cold on Saturday. Then take a look at Sunday, up to 62, 62 on Monday. Maybe some evening showers Tuesday that could translate to a pretty chilly rain as we head into next Wednesday morning, but still not bad. In fact, we stay decent all the way through next Friday into the 50s before we get another cool down. We'll drop back down to 30 Friday night. Won't make it out of the 30s as we head into Saturday of next weekend. And then we could see an additional wintry mix out there. So we're not done with winter yet, and we're not done with this roller coaster ride yet either in those temperatures. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. 1 person is dead and 3 others injured after a shooting Wednesday evening at the Celio Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas. Multiple law enforcement agencies, including El Paso Police, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and U.S. Border Patrol responded to the scene. Authorities say a suspect is in custody, and police believe there may be another suspect still on the loose. Officials with University Medical Center say they have received 2 victims in critical condition. A blinding dust storm in Oklahoma results in a deadly 10-car pileup, and the aftermath is all caught on camera. Oklahoma Highway Patrol Lieutenant Eric Brown took this video from the passenger seat of a police vehicle. They were following an ambulance to the crash on US 54 near Goodwell. The accident involved 10 vehicles, including commercial tractor trailers. The Texas County Sheriff's Department posted this video of the aftermath. According to the Oklahoma Highway Patrol, the driver of one SUV was killed in the wreck. Others had various injuries. The National Archives will give tours to anti-abortion activists who claim staff asked them to cover up anti-abortion messages on their clothing. It comes after two activists filed a federal lawsuit against the Federal Records Agency last week. The activists were reportedly visiting the Washington, D.C. Museum the same day as the National March for Life in January, which saw scores of anti-abortion activists travel from all over the country to attend the march. It was the first such event held since the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade last year. Under the proposed deal, National Archives staff will apologize for the events that unfolded last month, and the National Archives has issued a statement clarifying its policy, saying it allows visitor clothing to display protest language, including religious and political speech. Federal prosecutors reportedly want to hear from a lawyer for former President Donald Trump for a second time. Two sources say the Department of Justice filed a motion asking a court to force Evan Cochran to provide additional testimony. Federal prosecutors are investigating Trump's handling of classified documents. They allege that Trump used Cochran to advance plans of a crime or fraud. Cochran has already testified before the grand jury for roughly 4 hours. He was the third attorney to give grand jury testimony. And the Justice Department has decided not to charge Representative Matt Gaetz after a years-long federal sex trafficking investigation. That's according to a source familiar with the matter. The investigation into the Republican from Florida started back in 2020. Gaetz was accused of violating federal law by paying for sex, including with women who were younger than 18 years old. He has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing. In September, prosecutors working on the case recommended against charging Gaetz, but according to the source, the final decision came from senior Justice Department officials. According to the Missouri Supreme Court, more than 3,500 cases relating to marijuana have been expunged since the start of this month. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke with Newton County prosecuting attorney about what these expunged cases mean.
Now that recreational marijuana is legal in Missouri, marijuana charges are on the court's chopping block for expungement or dismissal.
For cases that were already pending, it was still illegal when that crime was committed, when they were in possession of that amount of marijuana. However, we have taken upon ourselves those cases which are now expungible. We are going through and dismissing those. We operate on a very tight budget, and we have decided to use our limited time and resources on other crimes.
Expungement and dismissal are used interchangeably, but are different processes. An individual who pled to the crime is eligible for expungement, whereas dismissals are for cases that didn't reach trial.
Our main concentration has been the cases that are still pending. So we are going through and kind of systematically reviewing those and dismissing the ones that would be eligible for expungement. And the expungement process is a little bit separate. That's handled by the court clerk. And she is going through those, and we are reviewing those eventually as well.
The expungement and dismissal of cases can be seen as a stepping stone for decreasing stigma and decriminalization.
I think that's a step towards the right direction. And with the treatment courts here in place in Joplin, I think that is a huge factor in helping decriminalizing and helping people with substance use problems.
Rather than institutionalizing individuals for marijuana, more focus will be on drugs destroying communities, like opioids.
Somebody with a marijuana charge should be expelled from work, and I know there have been cases where people have been in jail and institutionalized for marijuana. And I think, there's more fish to fry than a marijuana charge.
Reporting in Joplin, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
The Newton County prosecuting attorney wants to remind everyone that driving under the influence is still illegal. Individuals using recreational marijuana should not operate a vehicle. Well, this morning we're discussing history.
Another major discovery on the property where abolitionist Harriet Tubman was born more than 200 years ago. Maryland's governor headlined the announcement. A home where enslaved people lived, found during an archaeological dig on the 1,000-acre Thompson farm. The state has a team of archaeologists dedicated to finding the homes of Anthony Thompson's enslaved people.
Nearly 2 years of digging unearthed a brick foundation, a fireplace, broken ceramic shards, pieces of pipe, and teacups. Now the dig unearthed artifacts and layers of meaning for the archaeological team that includes Tubman's descendants.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite period of history? We got a number of options out there. So far, 20% of you say the Roman Greek era, 20% for the Victorian, same for other, something that's not listed, and 40% of you say your favorite period of history is the modern period, which is about 1945 to now. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. Share why that's your particular favorite period of history.
There you go. All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, the team that found the wreckage of the Titanic is releasing the rare 1986 video of the footage to the public for the first time.
Plus, the oldest Hebrew Bible in the world could fetch $50 million at auction. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, a bus carrying migrants through Panama falls off a cliff, killing more than half of those on board. The country's migration authorities said the bus was carrying more than 60 migrants when it fell off the cliff on Wednesday. It was on a dangerous stretch of road that connects Colombia to Central America, heading towards a shelter near the border with Costa Rica. More than half of the 66 passengers on the bus died in the accident. Another 20 were taken to the hospital, and the government did not provide details on the migrants' nationalities, saying they want to communicate with their relatives and their respective embassies first. One of the boys who was rescued from the flooded cave in Thailand back in 2018 has died. Dwangpat Dam Promthep was found unconscious Sunday in his room at a soccer academy in Leicestershire, England. He was rushed to a hospital and died on Tuesday. Dom was 17 years old. The cause of his death is not yet known. He and his youth soccer teammates made headlines in 2018 when 12 boys and their coach became trapped from floodwaters while exploring a cave complex. A massive search and rescue operation captured the world's attention, and after 18 days in the cave, everyone was safely rescued. Well, the world's oldest Hebrew Bible is expected to get between $30 to $50 million at auction. The Codex Sassoon dates back to the late 9th, early 10th centuries. It's believed to be the earliest and most complete Hebrew Bible. The book is made up of 792 parchment pages made from animal skins. Sotheby's is auctioning off the Bible in New York this May, but before the bidding starts, the book will follow an exhibition tour to Israel and the U.S. This is also a big moment for biblical scholars who have long been aware of the codex named after renowned collector David Sassoon, but have not seen it since it has largely been out of public view. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we wanted to take a quick look at the tower cam at 7th and Rangeline. So in color mode, all you can see is precipitation accumulating on the lens. But if we briefly switch it to night vision, there you can see we've got a pretty steady light drizzle, light wintry mix falling in the city of Joplin right now. And not the only place seeing a light wintry mix out there. Taking a look at Skywatch Storm Tracker. Again, with wintry precipitation, it is difficult for radar to pick it up, but there is a wintry mix falling out there for some of us. Last night's severe weather tracked from northeast Oklahoma through northwest Arkansas into southwest Missouri. All these blue dots are hail reports, severe hail reports. Look at all the ones in Benton County, and then that same system tracked into southeastern Berry County as well, so a number of hail reports there. Winter weather advisories for our extreme northern counties through 3 o'clock today. I would not be surprised if these are let go early, just as the bulk of the wintry precipitation is moving on out of here. 20th and Rangeline, MoDOT camera there. We're looking good so far, but do be aware with that light wintry mix, there could be some slick spots. We're sitting just above freezing, 34 in Joplin, but that wind at northwest at 10, making it feel like it is 26 degrees out there. We are on the backside of that low pressure system now, so we are in the cold zone. We're at 26 in Yates Center, Iola, 31 Fort Scott, 33 Chatopa, 36 Miami, 33 in Neosho, and we're at 34 in Carthage as we start our Thursday. That wintry mix for some of us could hold on through about 8 o'clock or so. We will be cloudy afterwards for the rest of our morning. Temperatures in the lower 30s. We're looking to make it to about 35 degrees today. We've got another chance of some light flurries, maybe some light snow. No major accumulations, really no accumulation at all today, but there could be a few flakes flying as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours. That light snow will wrap up about 6, 7 o'clock. We'll be left with cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, and we'll drop down to a very chilly 24 degrees for our overnight low. So it's going to be very cold tonight. Now the good news is clouds will start to clear overnight, and that'll leave us with mostly sunny skies tomorrow. So it'll look a lot warmer than what it is, but we're back up to 42, making it to 45 on Saturday. Slight chance of a shower, maybe a light wintry mix early on Saturday. We're partly cloudy to mostly cloudy on Sunday, but check out that temperature, up to 62 degrees. Same story on Monday. More clouds, though. Then we could see some evening showers on Tuesday and maybe some morning rain on Wednesday. And because it's going to be kind of chilly overnight, it's going to be a cold rain. And I hate the cold rain. It just makes it feel even worse out there. Still in the 50s. And we're going to hold on to the 50s into Thursday and Friday of next week. So not bad overall. And then after Friday, we get another little wave in here. Could see a light wintry mix possible by next Saturday. Temperatures not expected to make it out of the 30s as we are going to remain quite cold out there. So just that quick reminder, got that light wintry mix still falling across some of the area, and that could lead to slick spots on area roadways. So slow down, give yourself time to get where you're going. That'll clear out, and then again, maybe some light snow this afternoon. Shouldn't add up to much, though, for us. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Chiefs fans line the streets of Kansas City to celebrate Sunday's Super Bowl victory. Celebration began with a parade. A crowd made up a sea of red in the heart of Kansas City. Players, coaches, and other Chiefs dignitaries rode on double-decker buses, or in some cases walked, to cheers and confetti. The nearly 2-hour parade ended at Kansas City's Union Station, where some Chiefs heroes spoke to the crowd. And some Chiefs fans gathered for a lunch break at the Pit in Pittsburgh to watch the Chiefs parade. The staff believes a lot of people went to the parade, but those who were working got to support the Chiefs from the restaurant. Local longtime season ticket holder decided to use his lunch break to cheer on his favorite team. And adults weren't the only ones partying for the Chiefs' big Super Bowl win. The Pittsburgh Community Child Care Learning Center hosted their own Chiefs parade on their playground. Kids played instruments, carried signs, rode bikes with streamers, and a lot more. And when the parade was over, the cleanup began, well, at least in Kansas City. Kansas City Public Works Director Michael Shaw says his crew was ready to tackle the job. First came the blowers to gather the trash, and then the street sweepers, then the crews to put on the finishing touches. This crew is happy to bring the clean, especially when the Chiefs continue to bring the rings. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The public is getting a rare look at the inside of the wreckage of the Titanic. David Bennick reports on the new video release of the never-before-seen video of the 1986 dive.
Nearly 37 years after he shot these images, Robert Ballard still remembers what he felt as he set eyes on the Titanic shipwreck at the bottom of the Atlantic.
And that was just struck me of how well preserved it was.
Ballard led the team from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute that discovered the Titanic in 1985, and he went back the following year with a submarine and a robotic vehicle equipped with a camera that ventured inside the wreck.
Well, I think that's what people will probably enjoy the most, is the inside of the Titanic, which until now that's not been released.
And you're seeing Jason Jr. Dana Yerger was also on the original 1985 Discovery mission.
But what do you think when you look at these images now, all these years later?
Well, I mean, I think of a lot of interesting things. I mean, the first thing you think about is, you know, all those people died.
The release of the video coincides with the 25th anniversary of the movie Titanic. With new technology, Ballard continues to hunt for other shipwrecks around the world. He says young people sometimes ask him to leave something for them to find, to which he answers,
The United Nations estimates there's 3 million ancient shipwrecks, and I have found about 100. So I've left most for you.
I'm curious if anyone was privy to that video before now, like James Cameron, because he made that movie look pretty realistic. We'll be right back. Well, we know it's 2 days past Valentine's Day, but there are just some stories that are so sweet, we've got to share them. Like this one, for example. A pair of Labradors delivered Valentine's Day cards to patients and staff at the Children's Memorial Hermann Hospital in Houston, Texas on February 14th. Now, this footage shows the service dogs, Dexter and Pilot, delivering cards to and cuddling with people at the hospital. How sweet. And this one, too, is just so sweet we had to share it. Two rehabilitated sea turtles, Port and Starbird, great names, they were released on Tuesday, Valentine's Day. The two turtles were rescued about 3 months ago and treated at the Turtle Hospital in Marathon, Florida. Several hundred people watched from Key West Higgs Beach as Port and Starbird were carried from the Turtle Hospital's ambulance to the water's edge. The crowd applauded as the pair swam away together to spend Valentine's Day in their saltwater home.
Well, we are on the back side of a low pressure system that brought us some strong storms yesterday, even a few light flurries. Still getting a light wintry mix in some areas and some flurries possible later today. Cold start, 26 Iola, 30 Parsons, 36 Miami, 33 Neosho, and 34 in Joplin and Carthage. As we go through today, that wintry mix for some of us holding on through about 8 o'clock. Then we are cloudy, cold temperatures in the lower 30s. As we get into the afternoon, we're looking to make a high of about 35 degrees. We could also see some light flurries, maybe some light snow as we head into the afternoon and early evening hours. It shouldn't add up to much, but could cause for a few slick spots out there. We're cloudy and cold tonight, dropping back down to a low of 24 degrees out there. But we'll start to clear out. We'll see more sun tomorrow, up to 42, so still a bit chilly. Light wintry mix, maybe some showers possible early Saturday, 45. Then check out Sunday, Monday. We make it into the 60s. We stay nice as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday, but some evening showers, maybe some early morning rain on Wednesday. And we'll stay in the 50s all the way through this coming, or next Friday rather, not this coming Friday, but next Friday. And then we'll get cold again, only 38 next Saturday with a wintry mix possible as well. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, the Newton County Prosecuting Attorney's Office has begun to look at convictions for marijuana possession with the possibility of expungement or dismissal.
Well, we've got a light wintry mix falling across some of the area this morning, leading to a few slick spots out there. We're also going to be quite cold today. We'll break down the latest forecast coming up.
And many truckers have become the first line of defense in the war against human trafficking.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 6 o'clock. So it is fairly cold out there as we start our day. We are also looking at that light wintry mix falling. Now we've got a little windshield wiper on our camera there at 7th and Rangeline. We just ran it and it's already covered again in some light drizzle, light wintry mix out there. So slick spots are definitely a possibility. We're sitting at 34 in Joplin right now, feeling like 26 with a west-northwest breeze at 10 miles an hour. It's actually a pretty heavy drizzle, light mix out there, so make sure you have the wipers ready to go. We are cold on the backside of this system. 25 Yates Center, Iola, 28 Parsons, 36 Miami, 34 Neosho and Carthage as we start our day. And as we go through the rest of the morning, light wintry mix for some of us should wrap up right around 8 o'clock or so, and then we'll be cloudy, cold, temperatures in the lower 30s through the morning. We're looking for highs to push through the lower 30s, maybe up to about 35 degrees. As we get into the afternoon and early evening hours, we could see a light flurry, maybe some light snow out there. Should not add up to much, but don't be surprised if you see some of it, and it could cause, again, some additional slick spots out there because it's just going to be so darn cold. That stuff wraps up about 6, 7 o'clock. We'll be cloudy to mostly cloudy as we head into the rest of the evening hours, down to a low of 24 degrees out there. As we look ahead, though, there's good news. We're going to start to warm up, and that's great news, actually. More sunshine tomorrow, up to 42, down to 30, so maybe a light wintry mix, some light showers early on Saturday, 45. Then check out Sunday and Monday. Look at this big temperature jump, 62 Sunday and Monday. A few more clouds on Monday. Some evening showers possible Tuesday evening into Wednesday morning because it's going to be kind of chilly. Could be a bit of a cold rain to start your Wednesday, 55. And we stay in the 50s Thursday and Friday of next week. And then we'll get chilly again, down to 30 Friday night, making it only to 38, so not even out of the 30s by next Saturday. And we're watching another possible round of some wintry weather across the area. So we're not done with winter, and we're not done with this roller coaster ride. We're on the dip right now, but as we head through the weekend, we'll be back up. We're going to level out, and then we're going to have that drop again. So a lot to watch, a lot of temperature changes. But remember, each day on this forecast brings us that much closer to the start of spring. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, the grass may be greener for some people in Missouri convicted of marijuana crimes. And now that recreational marijuana is legal in Missouri, marijuana cases are eligible to be expunged or dismissed. The Newton County prosecuting attorney says they're systematically reviewing cases for expungement.
So we have stopped receiving possession of marijuana cases on individuals that are possessing less than or more than 3 ounces is the new limit. So if it's more than 3 ounces, we're still receiving those cases. If it's less than 3 ounces, we are no longer receiving those cases.
According to the Missouri Supreme Court, more than 3,500 cases relating to marijuana have been expunged since the start of the month. Truck drivers can be among the first line of defense when it comes to rescuing victims of human trafficking. Training is now being offered around the country, and as Christian Benavides reports, it's making a difference.
Robert DeRoy drives his Ryder truck up to 100 miles a day on Florida roads, always on the lookout for signs of distress.
We're in a truck, we're higher, so we can see better inside, so you can see if anything, seems out of order.
Florida has launched a broad initiative to offer training to every commercial truck driver, teaching them to spot human trafficking, criminal activity that often happens at rest areas and truck stops.
Let's say vehicle going the corner, dropping people behind trailers, seeing people knocking on doors, like trying to get their attention for prostitution.
DeRoy says one thing he looks for is hand signals. Explain that to me. What is that?
The sign, it's what they teach kids at school. If they're in distress, they raise their hand, they fold their thumb inside the palm, and they wrap their finger around it.
There is a push to get more truckers and bus drivers this training so they can put it to use while out on the road. Stephanie Wicke is a Ryder marketing executive and Truckers Against Trafficking board member. The nonprofit has trained more than 1.5 million drivers. How critical is it for these drivers to be trained?
I think as far as what TAT's mission is, it is critical. It's led to thousands of calls into the hotline, into local law enforcement, which has led to hundreds of victim recovery. So it's working.
The effort is picking up momentum with a handful of states implementing trucker training programs. Wicke's goal is to see it required by law across the country.
We don't want to believe that other human beings are capable of just evil and egregious acts, but they are.
DeRoy says he loves being on the road, and if it allows him to help another human being, the reward will last a lifetime. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
According to Truckers Against Trafficking, more than 40% of reports by truckers involve victims who are minors. To be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. Well, they don't do it for the recognition, but the accolades are always nice and well-deserved. The Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce is accepting nominations for the 2023 Golden Apple Awards. The awards recognize local teachers for their excellence, and this is the 38th year the Chamber has hosted the event, with 4 categories splitting up different grade levels, K through 12. Winners will be announced at the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce's annual chamber banquet this spring. To learn more, you can go to KOAMnewsnow.com. On Wednesday, some area kids had the chance to learn about the arts. Connect to Cultures hosted the entire 4th grade from Joplin schools as part of the organization's new Ignite series. The series seeks to ignite a passion for arts and culture outside of the classroom by providing performances which engage, educate, and inspire area students and their families.
The Secret Agency is all about finding intelligence in every single one of us. It's a bit silly and it's a bit of fun. It teaches kids about the genre of hip hop and a little bit of history, but it also just encourages them to be themselves.
Secret Agency performed for the kids. They host interactive hip-hop performances combining music, storytelling, dance, and imagination to encourage kids to value their unique individuality. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, residents of Palestine, Ohio get a chance to express their concerns at a town hall meeting over the recent train derailment. But representatives from the train line declined to attend. We'll tell you why. Plus, new research shows watching nature documentaries can motivate people to help the environment. We'll have the details. And Chris gets bundled up to deliver the news of just how cold it is today and how long that cold will last. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, veteran actress Raquel Welch has died at the age of 82. According to a statement from her manager, the iconic actress passed away Wednesday in Los Angeles after a brief illness. Welch is best known for her role as a cave woman in the 1966 prehistoric movie 1 Million Years BC. In the film, she donned a fur bikini and became an international sex symbol. Welch had more than 70 film and television credits under her belt. She won a Golden Globe for her 1974 role in The Three Musketeers. Welch leaves behind 2 children, her son Damon and her daughter Tani. We'll have more on the life and career of Raquel Welch when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14 at 7. Well, today, the head of the Environmental Protection Agency is set to visit the Ohio village at the center of a toxic spill caused by that freight train derailment nearly 2 weeks ago. People in East Palestine packed a gym last night in a search for answers about whether their air and water is safe. CBS's Jared Hill has the latest, including why the train's operator was a no-show at the meeting.
Hundreds of concerned residents in East Palestine, Ohio met last night with state and local leaders. The worried crowd full of questions and confusion over whether they're safe after a train derailment that released toxic chemicals into the air and water.
We all just want answers. It was just a big runaround. I feel like a lot of the questions that were asked were people's rantings and just speaking in circles.
East Palestine's mayor, Trent Conway.
Everybody's concerned. I'm concerned. But, it's not Norfolk Southern here. It's the EPA, the people that have been working with us, trying to get our citizens back into their own safe.
The railroad operator pulled out of the meeting Wednesday, citing safety concerns for its staff. Since the Norfolk Southern train went off its tracks and officials authorized a burn and release of toxic chemicals on board to prevent an explosion, people have reported rashes, headaches,
Sorry.
coughs they say they can't explain.
That's the scary thing for me is that I don't know.
The state EPA has said that the air and water levels are normal. Meanwhile, there's new information on the crash itself. CBS News has learned that employees working on the train were concerned about what they say was excessive weight and length in the days before it derailed. Employees familiar with the situation also say the train broke down at least once before. In a statement, Norfolk Southern said the weight was, quote, uniform throughout, with features to help reduce mechanical issues, and that a longer and heavier train used to run the route. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Ohio Department of Natural Resources estimates spilled contaminants affected more than 7 miles of streams and killed about 3,500 mostly small fish. Norfolk Southern says it's creating $1 million fund to help people in East Palestine. The Associated Press is reporting Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost advised Norfolk Southern on Wednesday that his office is considering legal action against the rail operator. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, quick look outside at the MoDOT camera from 20th and Range Line. The roads are a little bit on the wet side, a little bit slick out there as we've got a light wintry mix falling in Joplin. Some of us continuing to experience that. We'll tell you how long that's going to last and when we'll start to see a warm up as soon as the KOAM Morning News returns. Don't worry, we'll be coming back. I promise. It's going to happen because we've got really exciting commercials to show you. and then we'll... Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Time for a little weather trivia before we get to our full forecast. This morning, we want to know, what was the highest wind gust recorded on the summit of Mount Washington, New Hampshire during the 20th century? Was it 281 miles an hour, 203 miles an hour, 231 miles an hour, or 334 miles an hour? While you think about that, let's take a look at this. 7th and range line. So again, we keep running the wiper on this. It's not like it's doing much good. What you can't see in color mode is interesting. So if we switch it to the black and white mode, you can see that drizzly, wintry mix stuff coming down, and it's coming down pretty good in Joplin, and others also getting in on this wintry mix action as well. Not showing up on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, but it is obviously happening for some of us. Last night's severe weather, though, was something else. We knew it was a possibility. It did transpire to a degree. We had severe thunderstorm warnings coming out of northeast Oklahoma into Missouri for Delaware, Benton, McDonald, and Berry counties. And these blue dots, look at how many of them there are just in Benton County alone, represent severe hail reports. And that tracked with the same storm all the way up into southeastern Berry County, southeast of Cassville. You can see it continued. And they're still dealing with severe weather now out to our east. Now, we are done with that. We still have winter weather advisories for our extreme northern counties through 3 o'clock today. As this moves out, these may be allowed to expire a little bit early as the bulk of the wintry weather is starting to wrap up, the heavier stuff that could actually lead to issues. 20th and range line, MoDOT camera there. The roads are a little bit shiny. They are a little bit on the wet side, which means slick spots are very possible, so do be cautious out there this morning. Our tower cam was clear about a minute ago, and it's already covered again at 7th and range line. 34 in Joplin, feeling like 26 with a west-northwest breeze at about 10 miles an hour. So we're on the backside of this low pressure system now. We're in the cold zone. We're at 25 Yates Center, Iola, 28 Chanute Parsons, 36 in Miami, 34 Neosho and Carthage, and 32 Monette and Lamar as we start our day. That wintry mix should wrap up about 8 o'clock this morning, and then we will be cloudy and cold with temperatures in the lower 30s as we start our day. We're looking at temperatures to really just hover in the lower 30s to maybe about 35 degrees, and then this afternoon into the early evening hours, we could see some additional light flurries, maybe some light snow, no appreciable accumulation, but just because it's going to be so darn cold, slick spots still a very likely possibility. All right, that stuff wraps up about 6, 7 o'clock. We're cloudy and then mostly cloudy as we head into the evening and overnight hours, and we'll drop back down to a pretty darn chilly 24 degrees for our overnight low. Now, let's get the answer to our question from a couple of minutes ago. What was the highest wind gust recorded on the summit of Mount Washington, New Hampshire? There's more than one Mount Washington, during the 20th century. Well, if you happen to pick C, 231 miles an hour, you would be correct. As a matter of fact, that reading was recorded in 1934, and believe it or not, hurricane force winds, so we're talking winds of 75 miles an hour or greater, blow on the mountain summit about 110 days of the year. So a very windy area for sure. No, we haven't been quite that windy, and hopefully it doesn't get that way. And speaking of wind, we could see some gusts today, upwards of say 20 to 25 miles an hour again. You saw how that wintry mix was being driven right at our camera from the northwest, so still quite breezy out there, making it feel pretty chilly. All right, 42 tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, though, so at least it looks warmer. A light wintry mix, maybe some light showers possible early on Saturday. We make it up to 45. Then we have a huge jump going into Sunday and Monday, so we make it into the lower 60s for highs. Yeah, it's still February, but we're at least going to warm up a bit. And we're holding on to decent temperatures, but we're going to watch the possibility of some late showers Tuesday into Wednesday morning. As temperatures drop a bit, that's going to be a pretty chilly rain by Wednesday morning. Holding on to the 50s through Thursday and Friday. As you see, we slowly start to cool off. And we have another system bringing us the possibility of some wintry precipitation next Saturday, and our high is not expected to make it out of the 30s. We're back with more right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, radiation therapy, also known as radiotherapy, does not improve survival rates for older patients with early breast cancer. New research shows patients 65 or older with low-risk breast cancer who received radiotherapy did not survive longer than those who did not receive it. Treatment is still considered effective for other groups and other types of cancer. Drinking even 3 months before pregnancy can affect the shape of a child's face. A study published in the journal Human Reproduction found mothers who drank a large amount of alcohol prior to or during pregnancy increased the risk of fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, which can alter the shape of a child's face. Researchers say they were able to detect a difference even among mothers who drank a small amount of alcohol. Well, new research shows watching nature documentaries can motivate people to help the environment. A study in the Annals of Botany found after watching the BBC documentary Green Planet, Google searches for the plants featured in the show dramatically increased. That increased awareness can lead to more participation in conservation efforts. Well, more than 6 million Americans are currently living with heart failure, and every year thousands of patients require a heart transplant. Dr. John LaPook looks at a medical breakthrough that could give more people the chance to get a new heart.
It's moments like this that made Jason Banner decide to take a chance on a new method of heart transplantation.
I'm thankful for everything that is given me so far, and that's the gift of life.
The single father of two discovered in 2005 he had a genetic heart condition. Last year, he was hospitalized with an irregular heartbeat which causes poor blood flow.
They were basically telling me my heart was ready to give out at any moment.
Banner was transferred to Duke University Hospital for treatment while he awaited a heart transplant. During 2022, almost 8,500 people were on the wait list, but fewer than half received hearts because there weren't enough donors. To increase his odds, Banner agreed to participate in a procedure called donation after circulatory death.
The use of this technology is the biggest thing to happen in heart transplant since heart transplant started.
Traditionally, a heart has been removed from a body and then put in a tray on ice. What's different about this?
The heart is connected to essentially a miniaturized heart-lung machine that actually pumps blood into the heart. And so not only does that allow it to recover, we can transport as far as we need to.
This new device expands the number of hearts available for transplant by increasing the distance the donor hearts can travel. Previously, hearts needed to be transplanted within approximately 4 hours.
You've successfully transplanted a heart that was on this machine for more than 9 hours.
We can go further and think about using hearts that are not going to be used that just because of distance alone.
Last June, Banner received a heart flown in from out of state.
This is a heart you would not have been able to get before.
Truth. It has given me the opportunity to be here for my family.
All because an organ donor gave him a second chance at life. Dr. John LaPook, CBS News, New York.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, we're watching a wintry mix continue to fall for some of us across the area this morning. Still with winter weather advisories for extreme northern counties through 3 o'clock today. MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line looking good. The roads are a little bit shiny as they are a bit wet. And so that's something you got to keep an eye on. There will be some slick spots out there this morning. Our tower cam at 7th and Range Line keeps getting covered with this wintry stuff coming down. It's a kind of a heavy drizzle almost. 34 in Joplin, feeling like 26 with a west-northwest breeze at about 10 miles an hour. On the backside of this system, we have gotten cold, and we are really cold up here in Yates Center and Iola, both at 25, 27 Neodesha, 33 Chetopa, 35 Miami, 33 Neosho, and 34 in Carthage. That wintry mix, for those who are experiencing it, should wrap up about 8 o'clock this morning. Then we will be cloudy, cold, and temperatures in the lower 30s as we get our day started. As we head into the afternoon and into the early evening, even if I can speak here, there we go. We've got the chance of some light flurries, maybe even some light snow. Shouldn't add up to anything, but more slick spots possible because it's going to be so darn cold. Making it maybe to a high of about 35 degrees, and that's going to be about it today. We're down to 24 tonight, that light snow, light flurry activity wrapping up about 6, 7 o'clock. Cloudy to mostly cloudy skies, and then we'll start to clear out as we head into tomorrow. We'll actually even have mostly sunny skies, a high of 42, so even though it's still a bit chilly, it'll look a little bit warmer out there. Looking at the possibility of a light wintry mix, maybe some showers early Saturday, and then some additional showers possible late Saturday. 45, then a huge jump Sunday, Monday into the 60s. Clouds increasing, then we could see some evening showers Tuesday into Wednesday, so maybe a bit of a cold rain Wednesday morning, but still staying decent temperature-wise in the 50s. We hold on to the 50s through Thursday and Friday of next week, and we get another system in here that could bring us some wintry precipitation by next Saturday, and our temperatures next Saturday not expected to make it out of the 30s. We're back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6:30, the city of Joplin has a lot to offer visitors, and now the Convention and Visitors Bureau wants your help in bringing them to the city.
And we've got a wintry mix falling in Joplin, and for others across the area, we've got a pretty cold day lined up for us too. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
And big plans lie in the future of Joplin as the city looks to inject millions of dollars into city improvement projects. KOAM Shagun Bomadelli takes us there for a closer look.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we had some storms last night for some of us, some of them on the strong to severe side with a number of hail reports. And then this morning we are dealing with cold weather and even some wintry weather for some of us out there. We still have winter weather advisories for some of our extreme northern counties through about 3 o'clock today. Now again, I think there's a fairly decent chance that some of these will be dropped as we go through the morning as the bulk of the wintry weather is moving away from the area. However, that doesn't mean that we're not still dealing with some wintry weather. MoDOT camera 20th and Range Line. Roads are shiny because they are wet. We've got that wintry mix falling, and that means there are also some additional slick spots out there to keep an eye on. We're at 34 in Joplin, feeling like 26 with that west-northwest breeze at about 10 miles an hour. Now that we're on the backside of this system, you see the spin with the arrows. We're at 25 Yates Center, Iola, 28 Chanute Parsons, 35 in Miami, 33 Neosho Monette, and 34 in Carthage as we start our Monday. This is not Monday. My goodness, let's not go back in time. We're at Thursday. It's almost Friday. We've got that wintry mix. That'll continue for some of us through about 8 o'clock this morning. Then we will be cloudy and we'll be cold as well. Temperatures hovering in the lower 30s. We might make it to about a high of around 35 degrees. And as we head into this afternoon and early evening, some more light flurries, a little light snow is possible yet again, mainly across extreme southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri. Shouldn't add up to much, but could cause some additional slick spots out there. On top of that, we're going to have winds gusting about 20 to 25 miles an hour again today. So with it being so cold, it's going to feel a lot colder out there. And we head into this evening. Light snow flurries wraps up about 6, 7 o'clock. Then we're cloudy to mostly cloudy heading into the overnight hours. We're going to drop back down to a very cold 24 degrees. But worry not, at least briefly. There's a warm-up on the way. We're not much warmer tomorrow, but more sunshine, 42. A light wintry mix possible early Saturday, and then some showers possible as we head into Saturday evening, 45. Then we've got 62 for Sunday and Monday. Yeah, lower 60s here, so much better. We still have decent temperatures to start next week. We're watching some late evening showers Tuesday into Wednesday morning. With it dropping down to 35, that could be a relatively cold rain, so be prepared for that. Let's check your forecast. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Some Joplin drivers can expect a detour on a busy road for a short time. South North Park Lane in Joplin is closed from 7th Street to 3rd Street for the Canterbury Improvement Project. City officials say the road will be closed for around 10 days, depending on weather. They say they are making several stormwater improvements for the installation of a box culvert, ditch improvements, and a new storm sewer. Businesses and residents will still have access to the road. Well, the future of Joplin may be in the hands and voices of the city's residents. Wednesday kicked off the first of 2 public meetings in Joplin to brainstorm ways to make the region more of a group travel destination. The Joplin Convention and Visitors Bureau says residents have great insight on what new amenities and offerings could help make that happen. Public engagement is the first phase of their work to shape the regional tourism market for the city.
One today gave a lot of great information, so it's going to give us maybe a starting point. And I think that we need more feedback from other people in the city besides just the people that were there today in this room. So if you have opinions about what you want to see here and the tourists that you would like to see coming here, you should speak up and become a part of these meetings.
The next meeting is this evening from 5 to 7 p.m. at the council chamber at the Joplin City Hall. All are welcome to join. Well, the city of Joplin continues planning public works projects, hoping to be approved for millions in state and federal grant money. KOAM Shagun Bomadelli breaks it down.
At this week's work session, Joplin City Council says the remainder of requests for $81 million in grants have been filed. So far, $25.6 million has been awarded.
So originally, the city of Joplin, much like other cities across the United States, received a direct allocation from ARPA, which is American Rescue Plan Act. The city received just under $13.8 million. And when we got those funds, well, the state also got ARPA dollars. The
grants will bring more funds to the city.
The plan was to hopefully use these funds to bring more funds to Joplin. So leverage these dollars or our tax dollars to bring the state and federal dollars to our area, really to do transformational projects.
The building behind me was built in 1967 as a bomb shelter, but today it serves as a home for Joplin's police department and Joplin's fire department. City officials tell me that $1 million out of the grant will be used for structural repairs.
It's an older building, 1967. There has been investments over the years, of course, as far as general maintenance and upkeep, but there hasn't been any significant investments in the infrastructure of the building since 1980.
Robine says the renovation comes as some equipment isn't working properly.
Well, we can't order or replace parts on much of that equipment any longer because of their age, and some of that equipment is malfunctioning or doesn't even work. So we invest in that equipment every year to maintain the building as a whole, but there are systems within that building that are failing or have failed that we need to replace.
Reporting in Joplin, Shegumamdele, KOAM News.
Council also heard a report on the status of streetlight installation. This morning, we're discussing history.
Yeah, another major discovery on the property where abolitionist Harriet Tubman was born more than 200 years ago. Maryland's governor headlined the announcement. A home where enslaved people lived, found during an archaeological dig on the 1,000-acre Thompson farm. The state has a team of archaeologists dedicated to finding the homes of Anthony Thompson's enslaved people.
Nearly 2 years of digging unearthed a brick foundation, a fireplace, broken ceramic shards, pieces of pipe, and teacups. Now, the dig, unearthing artifacts and layers of meaning for the archaeological team that includes Tubman's descendants.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. What's your favorite period of history overall? So far, got some even numbers out there. 22% of you say the Victorian era, the modern era, which is 1945 to now, and ancient Egyptian era. 11% of you say some other era not listed, the Renaissance and the Roman and Greek era. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, sounds good.
Never too late to dive into history.
That's for sure. It'll always be there.
It absolutely will.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, the Biden administration wants to electrify the nation with more than 500,000 EV charging stations in the next 7 years.
And it's cold out there, and it's going to remain that way. We're going to take a look at your complete forecast here in a few minutes when the KOAM Morning News returns.
In Consumer Watch this morning, the Biden administration is praising commitments from several companies to expand the nation's public electric vehicle charging network. Tesla promised to open up at least 7,500 of its chargers nationwide, including 3,500 superchargers to other electric vehicles by the end of 2024. President Biden acknowledged Tesla chief executive Elon Musk in a tweet, saying the plan is a big deal that would make a big difference. The Biden administration is aiming to build out of a network of 500,000 EV chargers across the country by the year 2030. U.S. health advisors recommend that the overdose reversing drug known as Narcan be made available over the counter to help combat the nation's opioid crisis. A panel of FDA experts voted unanimously in favor after discussions about whether untrained users could use the nasal spray safely in emergency situations. The regulator is expected to issue its final decision in the coming weeks. And Chipotle is launching a spin-off concept farm-to-table restaurant, Farmesa, and this is in Santa Monica, California. The location will not have a dining room, but customers can order customizable, healthier bowls containing fresh vegetables, grains, and protein on site for takeout or online for delivery. Farmesa will officially open in March, and if it's successful, Chipotle could expand to more locations. Can't see them doing that here. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Now we've got a wintry mix falling for some of us. Live look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline. The roads are wet. They are a little bit on the slick side as we continue to see this wintry mix fall across the region. We're going to be really cold today. We're also looking at wind gusts 20, 25 miles an hour, but there is a warm up on the way, and we'll get to all of that here in just a few minutes. Now we've almost made it through the week. Isn't that great? That sounds like a perfect reason to celebrate. And what better way to celebrate them with birthdays and anniversaries? But before we help some people blow out the candles, we're going to check in with what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, Patrick Stewart joins us to talk about the third and final season of Star Trek Picard and what's next for the acclaimed actor. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Thursday birthdays here in the 4 states. We're going to begin in Frontenac with Maya Courtney celebrating number 14. Says, we love you so much. Love Mom, Juju, Dylan, and Kate.
All right, in Pittsburgh, Beth Bowers is turning 47 years old this year. Happy birthday, Beth.
And we've got Ed Evans also in Frontenac celebrating birthday number 79 with love from Sharon, Mike, and Letha. Matt and Amy, Maggie, Cody, Zach, and Alex. A lot of birthday love for you, Ed. Happy birthday.
All right, and here's a big one this year for Rose Kern, who's turning 94 years old. Hope you have a wonderful birthday in Pittsburgh today, Rose.
And to the east in Jasper, we've got Lee Manley celebrating birthday number 95. Happy birthday, Lee.
And Chelsea Bradfield out in Altamont, Kansas. Birthday love coming from Ryan and the girls.
We've got Linda Garrison celebrating in Columbus. Happy birthday, Linda.
In Nevada, Missouri, Carrie Stark. Happy birthday to you.
We've also got Stephen McNamara in Columbus celebrating a birthday today. Stephen is one of the many friends of KOAM. Happy birthday.
All right, and it's a 32nd anniversary wish going out to Frank and Luella Trudell. Congratulations to the Trudells.
We've also got Hayden Wilson celebrating birthday number 21 in Weir.
And Lori Wilson is 48, also in Weir.
And last but certainly not least, Mike Riebel celebrating in Iola. Says, wishing you a very happy birthday from all of your family and friends. Happy birthday and anniversary to all of you. And of course, we'd love to celebrate these milestones with everyone in the 4 states. Tanya, how can they help us celebrate with them?
All they have to do is send in those birthdays to our birthday email. And don't forget the S on that, birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
All right, and don't forget, while you're at our website, take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do. You get great deals from local businesses. Additionally, you get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So all you need to do is head over to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, so we've got this wintry mix business falling in Joplin right now. It's been a pretty heavy drizzle almost out there, and it keeps covering our tower cam at 7th and Rangeline. We just got it cleared for you. And it continues to fall as we head through the morning. Even though it's not showing up on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, it is happening. So some of us still dealing with some of this wintry mess. Last night's severe weather left all this behind. We had severe thunderstorm warnings from Delaware, Benton, McDonald, and Berry counties last night as this activity rolled through, and each of these blue dots represents a severe hail report. Look at how many in Benton County alone. And that same cell tracked off to the northeast, clipped southeast Berry County, and headed toward Branson with a number of different hail reports from that particular system. This morning, still have these winter weather advisories for our extreme northern counties that run until 3 o'clock today. And again, most of the heavy accumulating wintry weather is moving out of here, so I wouldn't be surprised if these drop a little bit early today. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. Roads are wet. They are slick, so do slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going out there because some of us still dealing with that wintry mix. 7th and Range Line. Almost did it again. Walked to the wrong side. 32 in Joplin. Feels like 21. West-northwest breeze at 17. Now gusting upwards of 26 miles an hour. And we could see some wind gusts in that range as we go through today. On the back side of this system, it's brought in the cold air. 25 Yates Center, Iola. 28 Chanute, Parsons. Freezing in Chitopa and Miami, as well as Neosho, Carthage. 31 in Lamar, and we're sitting at 29 in Nevada as we start our day. As we start our day, we're looking at that wintry mix wrapping up, say about 8 o'clock this morning. Then we'll be left cloudy and cold. Temperatures in the lower 30s through the beginning of our day. Heading into this afternoon, highs in the lower 30s to right about 35 degrees. And into the afternoon and early evening hours, some additional light flurries and maybe even some light snow is possible, mainly right around the extreme southeast Kansas area and into southwest Missouri. That's not to say other areas couldn't see some light snow out there, but the good news is should not really amount to much, but could lead to additional slick spots because it's just going to be so darn cold today. Down to 24 tonight, mostly cloudy skies. That flurry activity wrapping up by about 6, 7 o'clock. And we're just left with those cloudy to mostly cloudy skies as we head through the evening. Now, clearing will start to take place overnight, and that will allow us to have a mostly sunny day for Friday. Looking pretty good. Still a little chilly, 42 degrees. And then a little double-edged sword on Saturday. Maybe a light wintry mix possible early Saturday morning. Shouldn't be much out there. And then maybe some evening showers possible late Saturday. And will otherwise be partly to mostly cloudy. Partly cloudy skies Sunday, Monday. Check this out, though. Temperatures jump into the lower 60s, so much better. Still decent temperatures heading into next week. Maybe some evening showers Tuesday, translating to some morning showers Wednesday. A little bit of a cold rain out there to start the day. Still nice as we head into Thursday and Friday with temperatures in the 50s. However, our next system's knocking on our door by next weekend. That could bring us the possibility of some wintry weather by Saturday. And check it out, high temperatures not expected to get out of the 30s by next Saturday. So our roller coaster ride will continue. We'll hit the peak, and then we'll dive back down again by the end of next week. We're back with more right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Chiefs fans lined the streets of Kansas City to celebrate Sunday's Super Bowl victory. Celebration began with a parade. A crowd made up a sea of red in the heart of Kansas City. Players, coaches, and other Chiefs dignitaries rode on double-decker buses, or in some cases, walked to cheers and confetti. A nearly 2-hour parade ended at Kansas City's Union Station, where some Chiefs heroes spoke to the crowd. And some Chiefs fans gathered for a lunch break at the Pit in Pittsburgh to watch the Chiefs parade. The staff believes a lot of people went to the parade, but those who are working got to support the Chiefs from the restaurant. A local longtime season ticket holder decided to use his lunch break to cheer for his favorite team. And adults weren't the only ones partying for the Chiefs' big Super Bowl win. Pittsburgh Community Child Care Learning Center hosted their own Chiefs parade on their playground. Kids played instruments, carried signs, rode bikes with streamers, and a lot more. And when the parade was over in Kansas City, the cleanup began. Kansas City Public Works Director Michael Shaw says his crew was ready to tackle the job. First came the blowers to gather the trash, and then the street sweepers, and then the crews to put on the finishing touches. This crew is happy to bring the clean, especially when the Chiefs continue to bring the rings. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And a check of that forecast, we got that light wintry mix for some of us. Should wrap up by about 8 o'clock. We're cloudy, cold, temperatures in the low 30s through the morning, making it to about 35 for a high into the afternoon, early evening. Some light flurries, light snow possible as well. Shouldn't add up to much, but it could lead to some slick spots. Also winds gusting about 20, 25 miles an hour. 24 for the low. That snow stuff wraps up about 6, 7 o'clock. We're left with cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. And then we're going to start to clear out and warm up. Sunny tomorrow, 42, maybe some light showers possible Saturday, into the 60s Sunday and Monday, 50s Tuesday, Wednesday with some rain chances.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making country bumpkin fried steak in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. And ahead on CBS Mornings, it's been over a decade since the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell, the discriminatory law against LGBT service members in the military. But a CBS News investigation found that many gay veterans are still waiting for justice after being kicked out.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, the Miami Theater Department is stepping in our studio to tell us about their latest production of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning. Don't forget, though, on our Fox show, too, we're going to talk a little more about that show, Animal Control, debuting tonight on Fox. We'll have more on that because they sent us something special. We'll see you again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
We're going to do it again today at noon.